Hi everyone. This video is going to introduce some of the tools geologists commonly use in the field, as well as the rock and mineral kits which we're going to use in your labs. So the first tool geologists use is the rock hammer, as you can see here. Now a rock hammer is different from a regular hammer because it has this pointed end on one end and a blunt end on the other. And it's very important that you never use the pointed end to strike a rock with. It will undoubtedly shatter. The blunt end is meant for striking rocks, while the pointed end is meant for scraping away loose debris or loose rock fragments off of a bedrock. So it's also important to note that you should never use a carpenter's hammer to strike a rock. A traditional carpenter's hammer is made from hardened steel and is meant to strike metal objects. Rocks can sometimes be harder than metal, so if you were to strike the wrong type of rock with a carpenter's hammer, it could shatter and send fragments of the hammer into your face or eyes. Now, the next tool geologists commonly use is called a geologic compass. Now, a geologic compass works in much the same way that a regular compass works. It'll point to magnetic north. However, a geologic compass also has what's called an inclinometer on it, which is kind of this level device here that you can move back and forth. So if I have some rock layers that are tilted, like we can see in front of me here, I can place the geologic compass on the layers, position the inclinometer until it's level, and that will tell me the dip angle or the angle of incline that these rocks possess. So we'll revisit the geologic compass again in Unit 8 when we're dealing with geologic mapping, and you'll see then why it's an important geologic tool. Now, the next tool I want to talk to you about is called a hand lens. The hand lens is a very small magnifying glass that you can use to look for mineral grains in different rock samples. So as you pull this up to your eye, you can see in much greater detail some of the grains in this particular rock sample. So hand lenses can be extremely useful when trying to identify different minerals in rocks or identify different textures of minerals in your lab kits. The next thing I want to discuss is your rock and mineral kits. So as you can see, there are 36 rock samples in our rock kit and 24 mineral samples in our mineral kits. The rocks and minerals in these kits will be used for the 4 labs this term, the minerals for the first, and then the rocks for the second. We have 12 igneous rocks, 12 sedimentary rocks, and 12 metamorphic rocks. Now, there are several other tools that you can use to test these minerals and rocks for different properties. First is the strike plate, which we can see here. Now, the strike plate is a porcelain plate that you can strike a mineral on, and that mineral will leave a streak behind, and that streak can be a diagnostic property of certain minerals. Now, the next tool I have here is a stainless steel scratching tool. Now, this tool, similarly to the streak plate, can help us identify different minerals. So this scratching tool can leave a mark on a mineral, similar to the way the mineral left a mark on a streak plate, and if the scratching tool is able to leave a mark on the mineral, then that tells us something about the hardness of the mineral. Scratching tools can come in all different shapes. This is a more professional looking scratching tool, but it does exactly the same thing. Now, what the scratching tool measures is the hardness of the mineral relative to the hardness of the tool itself. And as the scratching tool is simply made of steel, you could use something such as a geologic hammer as a scratching tool if you were so inclined. But typically you would have something that looks similar to this here. And the last geologic tool I have that we're going to use in our labs is a geologic magnet. Now, geologic magnets, like any magnets, are attracted to metal. Now, as you can see here, this particular mineral must have some magnetic properties as it's pulling the magnet toward it. Now, this particular mineral, number 14, isn't the only magnetic mineral. There are several others, and we will explore those in a later video as well. And then finally, the last piece of equipment that I'm going to talk to you about is a geologic notebook. So a geologic notebook is something that you might use in the field. These are designed to have waterproof pages when you write on them with pencil. So as a result, your information won't smear if you get caught out in the rain. So this is a very important piece of equipment that all geologists would have to record their field notes in. So that's all I have for this video on some of the geologic tools that we might use in the field and the rocks and minerals that we're going to use in your lab kits.